In this video, we're going to talk about how you recover business in 2026 and going into 2027. So you've paid for marketing, you've paid for all of the advertising. People now visit your website or make a call, nobody answers. Or somebody completes a chatbot on your website and nobody responds for days. That's missed money. That is potential income that you are losing. And in this video, I'm going to show you one strategy that companies are using to recover all of that revenue and to make sure that no customer goes unanswered. So the problem is much bigger than people realize. So Invoker did a study of 70 million calls and they realized that only 56% reached a human. So nearly half didn't speak to anyone. That's 44% of opportunities lost. So if 44% of people coaching your business or trying to make content with your business don't actually speak to anyone, that's potentially huge amounts of money. And through this session, I'll show you one solution that you could apply to your business, and we'll look at ways you can calculate what it's actually costing you to lose 44% of people coming to your business. So there's a solution called Vapi, which is essentially a voice agent. It's an AI voice agent that can answer calls in and out of hours. So some businesses use it in as something that would respond to your calls out of hours. So when they're not in the office, this would answer. Other businesses use it all of the time. So it's the first responder essentially to their business. So let me show you what the dashboard looks like. So this is how we typically build the voice agent coming to your that would respond to inquiries for your business. So we provide an initial message, which is what the caller would hear. And then within this section called the system prompt, this is essentially creating the conversation that the AI would use when somebody calls. So this is one that we built for an attorney in the US, and this is essentially the different scenarios that it should expect people to use when they're calling the law firm, and it guides them through multiple paths, and that's all defined here. So it is possible, and you can also provide it with a knowledge base. So essentially, a list of all your frequently asked questions and some further guidance. You could put that in here, and that would inform how the agent responds. So it would you'd have a prompt, you'd have the instructions that you give it, then we set up the client so that the client or the person calling doesn't get left and the conversation doesn't go around in loops. And then all that's left is for you to create what we call the knowledge base, and the knowledge base is just a collection of files and information that you use within your business. So the thing to bear in mind as a business owner is that your customer will not keep trying in most cases. So another study by Corrail said that 7 to 8% of people went to another client or went elsewhere after failing to reach the business by phone. Often, especially in this day and age, somebody trying to reach you by phone is probably in an urgent situation. So they'll really want to speak to someone, or maybe they've just had an hour off from work and they've just stepped out of the office to make the call quickly. So if you're there to respond immediately, then clearly they'll just stay with you. So you're not really competing against other voicemails. You are competing against the next search and the next line, and now against ChatGPT, providing the response that the client wants. So the thing to bear in mind is you've already spent that money doing the SEOs, Google ads, Facebook ads, referrals, and mining as many sources as you can, and then the prospect finally calls and nobody answers. How would you feel if that were your situation? So there's a few reasons why small businesses miss calls, and it's not always their fault. The whole point of this is to provide you with a path to arresting that situation. So everyone's busy. If you're a small business, you've got five employees, six employees. You're a HVAC company, and four of the employees are out on site building something, and then there's one person, typically the business owner's wife, who's answering the calls, who's doing the accounting, who's doing the bookkeeping, and who has to keep all of the current clients satisfied. So everyone's busy, or it's out of hours, or maybe one person just does everything, like I've just explained. There's no follow up on, and no one's in charge, and you don't have any CRM connected to anything that would help you manage that situation. So the missed call recovery system that you should employ this year is, if we compare this new way to the way it used to be, was A call arrives, nobody answers, it goes to voicemail, and so hopefully somebody calls back, or the business responds. The new way is the call arrives, it gets routed intelligently via AI or via some automation you put in place. That triggers a recovery workflow immediately. Now, right now, we make calls and then we get SMS messages straight away, or somebody calls us straight away. And in some cases, AI calls us straight away to get more information. And then that information should go into your CRM so that you have a way of measuring how many calls came in, where each customer landed, and you capture their information. And especially if someone's calling you, you capture their phone number as well. So you can use that as a way of recalling who that person is. So step one is fix that routing. Get all your calls going in a specific defined direction, not just go to voicemail or onto your answer machine. Make sure the call goes through an intelligent route. So it could be go to a voice agent. It could be that somewhere you tag it onto your CRM if your CRM has that functionality. But make sure that everything is routed intelligently and you know where the call is going. And then you start measuring. Start measuring how many calls were received, how many calls answered, how many calls were missed, and the times when those calls are being missed and where those calls are coming from. Are they mobile? Are they landline? Are they other businesses trying to call you? You can even check the phone number to see if it's owned by a business or owned by an individual. So if you don't measure it, it's very difficult to know what you're fixing and if you're actually going to benefit from having this system. It may well be that your business doesn't need it. So the step two is to recover the call immediately. So as soon as a missed call comes in, have a system in place that automatically sends us an SMS message. If not, you can have a system that calls them back immediately. And in fact, why have to respond to the missed call? Why not just have a system in place that gets picked up each time by your AI? So those are options that you have. Ensure that somebody responds to the call. If the customer doesn't reply, then you can have a follow-up sequence that you put them through. And then the final main one is that you put this information in your CRM to make sure that the lead is created, the lead is well managed afterwards. Then make sure that the missed call becomes a managed sales opportunity. And that's the word. Make sure that the whole process is managed so you can tell what part of the sequence or what part of the workflow each client is in and have that tagged and labeled. So step three, use AI when nobody can answer. So I've already spoken of a client who turns on their AI voice agent out of hours. So when they're not in the office, it comes in. It's all automated. He doesn't have to remember to do it. There's an automation in place that just kicks in and switches it. On the other hand, you could have AI answer the call, be the first port of entry, and then have some instructions in there telling the AI that if the caller wants to speak to a human, all they have to do is say it. And that you make that part of the information the human receives. Okay, if you want to speak to a human, just say, I want to speak to a human. And then in that situation, they know that if a human doesn't pick up, then the human's busy or somebody will get back to them. So you can use AI to answer out of hours calls, to capture and qualify the lead. So all of that happens and your AI can answer like 50, 60 calls at the same time and run them through the same um, automation and the same intelligence to extract the key bits of information you need for your CRM. They can also book appointments. There's no reason why you have to have a human doing the appointment setting and the booking of the appointment. And regardless of what you do, make sure that a CRM record is created and that you don't create duplicate entries. That's part of your CRM hygiene. But the key thing is that you have a way of ensuring that everybody gets treated the way you want. So step four is to connect the calls to your CRM. So make sure that there's a log of everyone that's called and how each one was handled. So the things you capture automatically will be the name and the phone number. You get that. The reason for calling, the source of that lead, and the qualification. So are they your ideal client? Are they ready to buy? Are they ready to have a conversation, or should they just be nurtured? And what is the next action? When would a human being get involved? So you get the call, you initiate a conversation, have that conversation. It could be between you and them, or between AI and them, or between your SMS and them. You upload your CRM, and then you have the follow up. So you set a meeting from the last meeting or from the last conversation. No more sticky notes or something that's reliant on someone's memory. So what could this be worth to you? Let's have use as an example that 200 inbound calls come into your business. whatever the number is, you can switch it for yours. So 200 inbound calls, 60 failed conversations. Let's say you recover 5 out of those 60, and each value for those 5 is £600. That's 36,000 per year. Now, for many businesses, that makes a huge difference. That could be the difference between profit and loss, or bigger profit, hopefully. So this isn't something from a new outreach system that you've put in place. This is based on the leads that come in off of the work you've already done, not something that you're yet to do. So it is worth considering, and the numbers could be much bigger if the average value of a client is much more than I just mentioned. So it's time to calculate your number, work out how many missed calls you get per month, how many are likely to be genuine leads based off of the information you currently have, what are your close rates, and what's the average value of each customer. And that's what gives you the potential monthly value. So another example could be 40 missed calls. Let's say 40% are potential customers. You convert 30% of that 40% into actual customers. And if each one is like £1,000 or $1,000 average, then you're getting yourself $4,800 per month, roughly, or whatever the number is for you. So it could be worth fixing. So that's something to think about. All of these things have a monetary value. It could be costing you something. So the recovery plan for 2026 leading into 2027 would be: 1, measure how many calls are you missing. The second thing to do is make sure that the calls can reach either another person or your AI or your SMS, but something must happen if a call is likely to be missed. So that's the routing of the calls. The third thing is acknowledge the missed call immediately. As soon as they hang up, or even just before they hang up, they receive an SMS message or they get a call back. Ideally, your AI should answer. So there must be a response. Now, capture the details immediately, because that's the point at which they're hottest and they're most interested. Then the final one is qualify the lead, book an appointment if you have to book an appointment, but make sure you have something that follows them up. And AI will help with this. So AI will qualify them, get extra information, extract information from the transcript of the call that was made, or from the SMS responses. Book customer, book them in if they need to book in, if that's the kind of business you have, and then something chases them to proper conclusion. So that's how you manage those clients. So the big lesson from this is that most businesses think that they need more leads. Often that's not the case. You need to manage what you do have, and you should manage regardless, because if you increase the number of leads, you're going to increase the number of leads that also slip through the cracks. And that's not ideally what you want. If you get that whole process tight and well managed, then when you increase your leads, you increase the return on that investment. So think about your missed calls, think about unanswered inquiries, think about out of hours, forms that are abandoned on your website, your chatbot not being AI enabled, forgotten follow-ups, your CRM is full of old leads that could be reactivated. So think about those things. Think about what you can do within your current business and within your current workload that can bring in more money. So revenue may already exist inside your business. So you just need a system that stops those leaks. So I'd like you to answer this question and put some comments in the comment section. What happens when you miss a call right now? Does someone call back? Do they receive a text message? Does your CRM create a task? Do you know how many happen? How many missed calls you get? How many responses happen? What exactly happens out of hours? You may already have this information. So you can tell me in the comment section what happens, and feel free to subscribe to get more useful tips like this for your business. So the AI solutions already exist. It's all about applying it to your particular use case and to your particular company. Okay, so what's left is for me to tell you who I am. I'm Ua, the founder of AutoRead.ai. We currently help HVAC companies chase estimates that they've sent out. So it's all around a similar sort of thing, where HVAC companies send out these estimates and send out booking requests and send out installation requests to clients. And the most they do is one chase or one or two follow-ups. but actually you want to be doing a lot more than that. So for this, we are doing something that's anti-AI. We actually use humans to call. So we call, and then we have AI to assist in terms of sending SMS messages and finding other emails and other sources that we can use to reach the client so that we manage it to conclusion and to full closure. We know with every estimate exactly what point in the workflow that they're in. So if this is of interest or you've heard anything else that would be of interest, do feel free to reach out. Send an email to hello@autoread.ai. Ideally, I want you to go to the website, complete a scorecard on the website, autoread.ai, and it will tell you how ready you are for AI, and you can book a call with me. So thank you so much, and until next time, keep shipping.